Stiers. I'm from Indiana, and I'm a rising sophomore at Princeton University.
And I'm Toy Sioluwale, also a rising sophomore at Princeton University, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
This summer, we've had the privilege to be able to work at Level OC Hospital. So we went through the application process in the fall, and once we had our Skype interviews, we got to get in contact with Richard, who helped us with a lot of our pre-departure things, such as getting our flights around, making sure that we knew about our accommodations, and what to expect with the program.
And straight from Kilimanjaro Airport, I already felt welcome into Tanzania. I found Richard and Gideon, and it was nice seeing them in person, and immediately they welcomed me, and we went straight to the house, and it was just nice to relax for a little bit before heading straight to orientation. And that's when I really got to have my first taste of Arusha. I just went around the town, clock tower, and it was a really cool, nice experience to see the town where I'm going to be working for 8 weeks, so it was great.
So for those 8 weeks, Monday through Friday, we'd get up at around 8 in the morning, eat a good breakfast, and then we'd head to the hospital where we all went to our respective placements. So Toysi and I were actually together all summer. We were working in the labor ward. So we got to work with a lot of the moms who were giving birth. We got to see a lot of different things. We got to see natural births, C-sections. During the latter part of our experience, we got to experience patients with preeclampsia and eclampsia. So we got to see a wide variety of cases. So for me, it was my first exposure to anything in the clinical field, and I think I can speak the same for Toysi. So it was a great opportunity. We got really close with some of the doctors and nurses. On the weekends, we'd actually go and have meals with them or go to their house and they'd cook for us. So it was really nice to get close to the doctors. And we also got closer to each other during our time. We spent the whole summer together. So yeah, it was a really good experience.
Yeah, and it was also a very different perspective. Medicine is done very differently back in the States, so it was just interesting to see how the different ways, I guess I can say, managing with the resources you have and how to make that work. There's just different ways in which doctors just use different tools, and it was much more manual, I could say, than back in the States. You know, there's so much technology and heart monitors everywhere. Here they didn't really have heart monitors. It was just by observation or the stethoscope. So it's just interesting to see different ways in which doctors had to adapt to their environment and with the resources they had. So I thought that was a really nice perspective to see how medicine could be done in different countries and how there's no rights and wrongs. There's just different ways to adapt to the culture, where you are. So that was very interesting. And also as an aspiring gynecologist, it was really nice to see how doctors tended to their patients. I got to see many examinations, just different I got to envision different procedures, and it was just really nice to see how all the procedures were done, because you read about it, but you don't really see it. So, like Tori said, it was like my first time really experiencing these firsthand, watching, learning. So I really appreciated that aspect.
Yeah, and a lot of the doctors like to incorporate us in some of the things they were doing. So during the C-sections, for example, we'd be able to hand them tools, we'd get them anything they need. If the patients were having any complications, we could help with that. So I mean, obviously we're not trained to do this, so it was nice that they allowed us to do the little things, like preparing gauze for some of the surgeries, doing laundry and things like that. I mean, we didn't expect to be able to do a lot, but the opportunity was amazing.
Hi, I'm Danielle, a sophomore at Princeton.
And I'm Mackenzie, a sophomore at Princeton.
So for the pre-departure part of our internship, we had a few different Skype sessions with Richard and Violet, where we talked about like our expectations, some questions we had about the program. He helped us understand exactly what the program would provide. He gave us a list of things like to bring and things not to bring.
Yeah, and I think also Richard received 100 emails from me, and he responded within minutes, answering all my questions I had. He was very accommodating, making sure that we were prepared, knowing which flights to take, where to book our flight to, and like arrangements to be picked up as well from the airport.
Yeah, and once we got to the airport, the pickup was very easy. Richard met us right outside of the baggage claim area and drove us to the house and showed us a bedroom in the house, showed us around the house. And then a couple days later, we got an orientation to the town where we were driven around to like different parts of town to kind of get to know our surroundings.
And we ended up stopping at some markets along the way to kind of get immersed in the culture, well, start of it. And we got to see a bunch of different crops, so there's all the corn that they do here, and then we got to see all the different shops as well.
Yeah, and then as far as our experience at the hospital, we, both Mackenzie and I, spent most of our time at Level OC in the minor theater. So we learned a lot about cleaning and dressing like minor wounds, draining abscesses, like stitch removal, any kind of like circumcisions, like small operations like that. And after a couple of weeks, we got to know the doctors pretty well, so they would trust us more and let us help out more directly with certain small procedures that we felt comfortable doing.
And we were also able to grow a lot at the hospital. As our first day during our circumcision, both Danielle and I had to leave the room because we thought we were going to pass out. But then by the end, we were the ones helping the doctors hold the tools and assist and like grab the gauze or whatever they needed for the circumcisions and whatever procedures they needed help with.
Yeah, and then the last 2 weeks of our program, we were at Mount Meru Hospital, which is a larger hospital. It's like the regional hospital in the area. And so we were able to see a lot more things there. I spent most of my time in the major operating theater, so I got to see a lot of different surgeries, like dental surgeries, orthopedic surgeries, ENT surgeries, and also just like a lot of general surgery. And I was also able to do rounds with the general surgeon there. So I got to see a lot of different cases and how the doctor would treat them.
Yeah, and at Mount Meru, I spent some time in the pediatric ward and got to get some exposure there and seeing different cases with pneumonia, TB, cerebral palsy, and then I also spent some time in the maternal ward where we got to see live births like we did at Level OC, but then also some more C-sections so we could compare the different way they do it at Level OC and Mount Meru and kind of get more experience seeing all those procedures.
And then outside of the hospital, we also had a lot of fun being around town. We went on a couple of different hikes. We went to the snake park once. So we saw a lot of different parts of Tanzania, which was a lot of fun.
And while we were at the snake park, we ended up wearing the traditional Maasai clothing and got pictures doing that, and that was pretty fun. We also spent some time at the Maasai market a few times to pick up gifts and souvenirs for friends. And we went to the Central Market a few times and got more comfortable with it, knowing where we need to go, what we wanted to get. So I think spending a lot more time here, we really learned about the culture and how we can learn from it.